Good morning, everybody. This is PROG 32758 Enterprise Java Development, aka Java 3, your humble prof, Simon Hood, and I am Simon.Hood at CharityCollege.ca if you need me. Coming at you live on this Friday morning. It is a beautiful day, and I can't stop looking at the background of Jacob here because it is spectacular. I want to be at a cottage again. I had a good time last weekend. Anyway, we have a class to get through. We have a class to do, and it's a good one. I think it's not something you ever have to do, but I think when you see it, you probably will want to do it this way from now on. And this is not sort of like a wide-reaching one like Longbucket, where it's just like it's in every project you're going to create until the end of time from now on until then. This one is useful though, and really cool, and very, very powerful when you get into it and when you get your sort of hands into it and get your hands dirty. We're going to map TimeLeaf object field attributes, and what this allows us to do is bind forms, regular HTML, well, technically they're TimeLeaf, they're spiced up with TimeLeaf, bind regular TimeLeaf forms, like they're HTML essentially, with Pojo in such a way that when we get back to the Spring Boot server on the other end of the form, we pull a Pojo out, a fully formed, instantiated, with data inside it in its properties, Pojo out of the data coming from the form. You don't have to get like 6, 7, 20, 28 request params. You can just grab a single already instantiated instance of your Pojo, which is really cool. And if there's time, if someone reminds me, I don't think it's part of this lecture, but I want to show you something else that's cool too. I'm just going to tell you right now in case I forget. You have to start with a Pojo before you can, you have to start with a Pojo that you send to the form before you can pull a Pojo back out of the form, yeah? And if you start with a blank Pojo, your form will be blank. No one will know the difference. A interesting thing here, though, is that if you start with a Pojo that has data inside it, like the name's already populated or a birthday or who knows what it might be, whatever information you have inside your Pojo, if you start with a not empty Pojo and hand it to your form fields will be filled in auto-magically with those values too. I don't know whether I'm going to demonstrate that today, but check it out as if you're interested, because it is really cool. If you ever need to edit something, pass a fully populated Pojo back to your form, and you don't have to worry about setting any of those fields. It's really convenient. So, okay, beginning the way we begin every day. What did we learn last time? Say, if you were here. What did we learn last time? Somebody help me out. Oh, I'm looking at you. Anybody? What did we learn last time?
We use TimeLeaf to kind of template HTML files for reuse.
Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, we learned TimeLeaf essentially. Yeah, so we learned two attributes, the two major TimeLeaf attributes, which I think I can fill in, unless you got them on the tip of your tongue, Kyle. th::what and th::what.
We used each for looping, and then text for actually pushing values through to the HTML.
100 points. Yeah, brilliant. th::text will display values inside the tag pair it is contained within, and th::each will iterate over a collection. There's literally a for each loop. th::each is a for each loop over a collection, once for each item in the collection. Yeah, awesome. Two other things we know about TimeLeaf. We used $brace for variables. Agreed? So $brace, like this curly bracket thing, curly brackets, will get at information inside attributes. And we learned @brace, like an @ symbol, shift 2 usually, with a curly bracket, will give us a TimeLeaf location, right? And I didn't spend a lot of time on it. We're going to see it again today, as well as another new one, *brace, which will get a get at model attribute properties. And so coming at you live right now, let us begin. I've already given you the preview, but when we're done today's example, we'll be able to move Pojo from Spring to Timeleaf for display in forms, as opposed to just display. And we'll be able to stuff the values our users enter into those forms back into a Pojo that returns from, or rather to, the Spring Boot server side on the other side of the form. And it's only 1 or 2 easy steps. It's really not that hard. It's a pretty good day. I wouldn't say it's the simplest day, but it's one of the simpler days. If you get it, you get it, and it will be easy for you. So, caveat, full caveats, which means warning in Latin, I think, beware, or something like that. Full caveats. It is really easy to make mistakes with this stuff. I will, you will, we all do. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. You're going to forget a quote, you're going to miss a brace, you're going to forget that Timeleaf namespace. It's going to happen to all of us, right? And so the point is only just don't worry. Just plug away, keep at it, debug those bugs. The more you do it, the more bugs you fix. Bob, I already happened to Bob. That's funny. The more bugs you fix, the better you will be at it. And Kyle, yeah, it happens, right? It happens. We're all here. We're all in on this one. Everyone's done this stuff, made mistakes with this stuff. It's going to happen to all of you. And so, the point is only just to figure it out. Line up the capitalization, the spelling, the syntax, of course, literally everywhere, because if they're off anywhere, your system may throw an error, and that's that's on this guy or you or whoever made that line of code. So easy to fix, sometimes hard to find. All right, jumping into today's code then. Gonna make a new project called Lecture 42, form binding, with DevTools, Web, Timeleaf, and Lombok. I got this. A file, file, new, come on. My finger's not working. Spring project, Lecture 42. We are ripping through this term. I'm gonna call this form binding demo, maybe, which is the process of taking a Pojo, putting it into form, and then taking it out of the form at the other end. Form binding. Form binding demo for Spring Boot. Looks good. I want DevTools, Lombok, Timeleaf, and Web. That looks good. Kick this thing in gear. Awesome. Easy peasy. Pro develop. I lost count of my pro developer tips. What am I up to? Anyone remember? 6? 5? Is that too high?
I
Did you say 5?
7.
Sorry?
We're at 7. I'm pretty sure.
7. I'm doing great. Great. Okay, I lost count completely. So number 7, lucky number 7. Pro developer tip, lucky number 7. Start big projects with the storage. I think you may already know this, some of you, but it is a good sort of thought. The things you store in your project, the information you are recording, will determine most of the rest of your application. So the things you store are what you will retrieve ultimately, and what you will be able to display. So it determines everything that you're grabbing from the database and on the way through the controller. And the things you store are also questions you're likely to ask. So on the other side of that, when you're sending stuff to the database, again, it depends on what you want to store. But if you know what you want to store, the rest of it kind of falls into place, right? Don't start with the view. Don't start with HTML. Start with the storage. I know that sometimes people are tempted to make a crazy nice looking form, but it's much, much easier if you know what fields you require to lay them out on the page than if you're just kind of, I need one of these and one of those over here. And, start with the storage. Pro developer tip number 7. And I thought, by the way, in terms of starting with the storage, I thought that today we might dip into songs. I know I've done a lot of student ID and name, but songs are cool too. I wanted to do something a little bit different, just to show you kind of the differences if you change your Pojo up, the differences you could ripple through your application. So, I'm gonna create a song Pojo in a beans package. So far, so good. Easy stuff. Right click, new. It's a regular class in a beans package. Named song. So far, so good. Inside song. I need some information. I want to store some information. A long ID is always, or almost always, a good idea. Private string title. Private string artist. Private string genre. And I'm going to store a constant array, which is just a type of collection, right? Theoretically. A constant as well, a constant collection of genres, plural genres to choose from. So hang on, I gotta type this out. Your long ID, string title, let's start there. Move myself out of the way. A private long ID, a private string, title, come on, private string artist, private string genre, like the genre of each song. And then up here, I don't want to type this. I could, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put in a string array, which is also a constant. And so this should probably read, come to think of it, genres. I may need to edit this a bit as I go. I'm going to. What the heck? Let's make this proper convention. So, all right. We have a genres constant up here as well. And I want to ask folks, what is missing from this array? We have like musical genres, yeah? And I don't want to sound like I'm 200 or your cranky grandpa or something telling you that, no, music is supposed to be like this. No. But I do think that music in the 2020s has been reduced, or can be reduced, let's say can be reduced, to probably more or less these 5. More or less, right? And so I recognize there are a bazillion forms of electronic music: dubstep, progressive, trance, house, and everything in between. There's a million forms of spoken word, which would be like hip hop or rap, obviously, and everything in between there. There's lots of forms of country. Old, new would be the obvious choices, but also, weirdly, you only have to look as far as Taylor Swift or maybe someone I'm going to see in January. What's her name? Casey Musgraves. Going to the Casey Musgraves concert. She's pop. Both Taylor Swift and Casey Musgraves are pop and country, right? Like, it's a debatable line when you get to pop music. I would say pop mostly fits into country today, though, depending on what station you listen to, or spoken word, or electronic. I've got classical up here. Classical, which I also quietly and maybe incorrectly, but I'm just going to say it, I lump in kind of like retro, 60s, 70s, 80s, 20s, 30s. Like, pick a decade. If it's old enough, I lump it into classical. So I'm going to today, in fact, I think put the Beatles into classical music, which I think it's fair. And Bob, I'm looking at this amazing setup behind you. I hope you can weigh in on me with this on me, yeah. And then indie, which is sort of formerly alternative and is all of the sort of pop music that doesn't really fit into country. It has more electronic bent, but it's kind of its own thing. So this would be, I don't know, a good example. Listen to Indie 88 on TuneIn. All the stuff that is more cutting edge, perhaps. It's not bubblegum. It's more sort of edgy sometimes. So, all right, musical wizards in the room with me. What is missing from this list? Put it in the chat or break into the mic and let me know. What do I need?
Metal.
Yeah, I was going to say metal as well.
Metal from Jacob and Kyle. So maybe there's nowhere metal fits in here. I would sort of lump it under indie.
I would say like a rock / metal section.
So rock is dead. Rock's gone. The only rock artists are
Plenty of
dinosaurs.
dead rock
like
out
Foo
there,
Fighters.
sir.
Yeah, there's still people making it.
You think so? So that's what
Oh,
other people
100%.
told me when I taught this lecture too. Okay. So what's the super genre of metal? Is it metal? Or is it rock?
I think it's rock.
Rock
That's a
/
rock,
metal,
probably.
says Kyle. Someone said rock. I think it's rock too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If you were to generalize it, yeah.
Rock
just
is
rock.
gray. Rock kind of dips into a lot of other places. But I can work with this.
So
Okay,
does metal.
we're adding
but at
rock.
the end of
We
the
good with
day,
this?
It's still metal.
Sorry, what? Say it again?
Metal also dips into a lot of other places, but at the end of
Agreed.
the day, it's still metal.
I would put metal under indie myself, but I'm happy to work with you folks. We can work on this together. Okay, can we work? Do you want metal added in addition to rock, or should I replace rock with metal?
I think that's
No,
fine.
rock's good.
Kind of covers it.
Can I take a vote? I want everyone to weigh in. If you
vote.
prefer rock over metal, say aye.
I
Hi.
2 people. Okay, 3, 4. 4
That's
people.
fine, yeah.
If you prefer, I add metal. 5. Metal over rock. Say metal. Rock has it.
Compromise
Okay.
and call it mineral.
Sorry, Big Dish?
We should just compromise and call it mineral.
That's
Sea salt.
hilarious, man. Mineral music. I love that. Oh, that's a hilarious thing to say. I gotta think more about that. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Mineral music. Loving it. Okay, let's continue then, yeah? Let's keep going with this. Because I don't want to waste anyone's time, although it is really interesting. I think music is a subject that most people are at least somewhat passionate about. Lots of cool stuff in the world. So, I'm going to Lombok this thing, this Pojo, with @data and an @noargs constructor before I forget. And obviously I could add in whatever I want here. Those are the minimums that I require to make this go today. Looks good. Got all my stuff on the left, on the right rather. Ready to mineral? I don't know. Ready to rock. Terrible jokes. Next, gonna create a song controller class. Song controller class and a controllers package. And this again is obviously very easy stuff. We've done this before. The only real difference here is that I'm not calling it home controller. I get myself into trouble when I talk and I say different things than what I'm typing. I'm not calling it home controller. I'm not calling it student controller. It is in fact a song controller wrapped up integrally with my song Pojo. Things that I'm going to do with and to our songs are going to happen through this song controller. So it's the conduit between the view and the storage, the model. Okay, cool beans. So far so good. Again, all still really easy. Gonna add @controller at the top here because I would forget. @controller, save, easy peasy. Inside song controller, we need an index method, essentially, a mapping for the root of our project. And I can type that up in a hurry as soon as I get it out of the way. Let's see. Public, string index. I need a model. I will almost always need models from now on. It's going to return to index. It's a get mapping for the root of our project. Organize those imports. And also in here, because I'm going to need one, if I want to line this up with a form, in order to yank a song out of a form, I have to put the song into the form in the first place. I'm going to add an attribute that I name song, which is in fact a new instance. Oh crap, this might break. A new instance of song. I hope that didn't break something. Ah, we're good. Good. Okay, good. So in our model, right at the root, we're adding a song, a blank, empty song. There's nothing in this song. Adding a blank song to our model. All right. Easy peasy. It comes in handy. It will come in handy in a minute. So, also, while we're still in our controller, because we haven't quite connected this stuff to a database yet, I'm going to create a copy on write array list of song so that I can add and remove songs in a way that is thread safe. Not the only way to do this, and not how you will need to do it in your assignment. I'm doing it the easy way so we can get through this in minimal time. For your assignment, I hope you will inject your own implementation of your own sort of list for the things that you require. I'm just keeping this easy for you folks today while I'm lecturing. Let's see. I'm going to create a list shaped, let's see, private list, wrapping around a song, or rather with a song generic. List shaped memory hole called song list. And I'm going to, I'm not going to inject, although I could. I'm going to stuff in a new copy on write array list with a generic of song, like wrapped around the song Pojo, or storing songs inside it, into that memory hole. I could very easily inject. In this case, it's actually simpler if I don't, and we can keep it moving quickly and easily. You must inject your own list, your own implementation of your own list, of your own interface for the assignment. Saying it again. Clear. Okay, good. And where are we? Maybe we want to add this song list, even though it was probably the first time we load empty. Maybe we want to add the song list to the model right at the beginning too. Add an attribute, calling it song. Oops, strong. Song list. I should really take some keyboarding classes. Song list. There we go. My speed's pretty good with the keyboarding. My error rate is atrocious though. I think you might agree. Although also it's quite hard to do this while you're talking, I would say. If you've ever tried to say something other than what you're typing and type at the same time, it's a bit of a, what's the word? Discontinuity? I don't know. Dissonance? Something. Anyway, it messes with your brain.
Juggling act?
Juggling is a word. Yeah, juggling. Is that what you said? Maybe.
Juggling act.
A juggling act. Yeah, it's plates spinning. Yeah, all good. Me spinning. Anyway, okay. So, get mapping for index looks done, I think. Now, we are returning. That's awesome. Mom spaghetti. I don't know where to go with that. We need a new file called index.html in our resources templates directory, which is pretty easy to do. We've got this all down cold now. I think everyone knows how to do this. In our templates directory, I'm going to create a new other HTML file named index.html. I'm just going fast. We don't need to slow this down anymore. It needs an XML namespace with a prefix of th, short for time leaf, that comes from https://www, and you need the www, one of those rare websites where it's required, timeleaf.org. Okay, so far so good. In here, maybe we print ourselves a message. I don't know. Maybe I just change the title today. Song list. And now in here somewhere, I want to print out my list of songs, however many there may be. And there's lots of ways we can do this, and I'm building up towards it. I'm gonna put mine in a table because I think it makes sense. It will keep it nice and clean and straight rows and columns. Inside the body tags, I'm gonna create a table tag pair. So far so good with the table row. And in my first table row, I'm gonna have a bunch of table headings. ID, else do I need? Title, artist, and genre. These are table headings. Song title. Song artist. And song genre. All things we're going to store about our songs. Remember that genres array, the constant, isn't something we can change. Like, it's part of every Pojo, but it's not something we're storing. We don't need to ask our users for all the genres. We've already hard-coded that part. We want to select one of them. Select one of those genres and call it genre singular, if I can put it that way. It's okay. So far, so good. We got our table column headings so far. Next, looping over. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to type. I'm going to type the HTML first. Second, another table row. And inside the second table row, a table data with an ID of, I don't know, this is my template, so I'm just going to keep it easy. 55. A table data of Paul McCartney. If I spell this right. A table data of, for the artist. Oops, I got that wrong. Table data of Yesterday is the song title, because that's such a brilliant song. Paul McCartney, Yesterday, and we're calling it classical. Will you permit me to call something as great as the Beatles classical? Is that rock or is that classical?
And classical. Go for it.
Classical? Brilliant. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Jake. Okay, we got this. We're calling it classical. Classical music. I can't believe this because my dad had an original edition of Rubber Soul, which is like one of the more valuable albums and you could have, I think. Original vinyl Rubber Soul, Beatles Rubber Soul album from 1960, who knows what. And I listened to it like disgusting a number of times as like a 3 and 4 and 5-year-old. I loved that album. Yesterday is not on that album, but there are a lot of brilliant tunes. It's one of their best. And that is hard to say because they have so many good ones. Rubber Soul is an album I would recommend everyone listen to. Yeah, Beatles rock, says Winston. Rock. We could have gone with rock. Maybe. You could also go with pop. We don't have a pop category. Debatable. Classic rock. I don't know. It doesn't feel classic rock to me. It feels classical to me now in 2020. It's like 70 years old. Like literally 70. Something like 60 years old. I don't know. Winston, will you permit me to call it classical? Is that cool? Winston, I guess. I love it, man. That's cool. Okay, good. So let's spice this thing up with some time leaf. I'm gonna put a th:/each loop into my table row, the second row here, and it will produce one row for every item in my song list collection. And for each item in my song list collection, I'm gonna call it S. Call each one of them S in turn so I don't interfere with my actual accidental song for my form binding. Call it S in turn. Then, let's see, inside my first table data, I'm going to put the text of, in this case it's S. I have a new variable, S's ID. Hopefully I get this right. I think I called it a song in the slides, but same difference. Put the text of S's title. Print the text of S's artist. And print the text of S genre. That's looking pretty good. Looking good. I don't think I've made any mistakes, because I hope I haven't. Probably I have already, but well, just take it as we go. And that pretty much completes my table. That will print out all the songs I know so far. Anytime I load the root of my application, I'm going to grab all the songs I know so far in my collection here, right? stuff it into the model. When we get to the index, we'll print them all out. We'll print them out in this part of the table. Nice. I'm going to make a horizontal rule, which is like a line across the page, so that I keep things nice and clean and separate. And you folks can do this however you wish. Style it up. The styling, by the way, as I look in the camera, has been brilliant. Some people are going to town on the styling, and I have been impressed. It is looking really crisp and sharp. I think I say this in the assignment. It's not usually this might have been a pro developer tip I've already shared, but if it's not, I don't know. You tell me, Bob, if I've shared this one or not. Maybe number 8, pro developer tip number 8. It's not the best idea that wins the hackathon. It's the best looking idea.
That was tip number 2.
Is it 2? Ah, been there. Yeah. Been there. Not 8 yet then. Thank you, Bob. Much appreciated. Awesome. Good. The best looking ideas win. I see this over and over again. People have these crazy, brilliant executions, but it doesn't look like much, and the judges, who mostly don't know what they're talking about, don't care. The public, who mostly don't know what they're talking about, don't care. It really does pay to put a little prettiness, to put a little style into your applications. I get it's not for everyone, and like I am king of this. I can't style anything to make it like to save my life. I suck at it. I'm not good at it. And that is why I wholeheartedly recommend to every one of you, check out Bootstrap. Where I'm going. Thank you, Winston, Jake, and everyone else. Bootstrap really does take the hard work out of it. It makes it easy. There's a small learning curve, but it really does. It will make your pages pretty, just even including it, right? Like just including the tags, the style sheets will massively improve the look and feel of your application. And then you can go to town after that if you wish. Okay, I don't want to belabor the point. I'm grateful is the point for the people that have put in the time and effort to style these things. They're awesome. Be impressed. These should go in your portfolio at some point. They look great. Cool. All right. So now a form. I'm going to start with a regular form, and then we're going to spice it up. I don't know if I can do that actually. Let's make our form tags at least. A form tag pair. So far so good. This form is going to use the post method. I'm going to have a post to as a template, so not timeless, as a regular template, post to nowhere. I don't want this thing to leave this page if I'm not running Spring Boot behind it. If Spring Boot is not in process and sending me to this page and I'm just instead styling the template and I accidentally click a submit button, I don't want it to go anywhere. On the other hand, if I am using Timeleaf, I want this to go to a Timeleaf location that I will map back at the controller of /add song. Did I get that right? I might make a mistake here. I will probably make a mistake here. You need this little slash in here sometimes. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Spring has a habit of appending onto appending to URLs instead of like recreating them, which is by design. But if you don't have the slashes, sometimes it gets confused or it can be confusing. So I'm going to go to /add song when I use Timeleaf to submit this form, and we'll map that in a minute. And one more thing, I want to line up this form with an object in the model, with an instance, with my blank song. I want to line this up with my song model attribute variable instance. I think that's hopefully said correctly. Okay, cool. Lining up our form with our song object instance from the controller, right from the controller, done before we got here. Okay. Cool beans. Now, regular fields should handle most things. Let's see, an input of type number. Whoops. And I'm gonna line up. Should I name this thing? I think I should. Actually, I don't even need to. I don't even need to name my fields. With a th field that lines up with asterisk brace lines up with the ID property of my song instance. So massive gotcha here. It's not song.id with a $sign to make this go. It's just ID with an asterisk. It's the ID property. And I've already got the song dot part of it in my form tag itself. Does that make sense? I'm adding song to my form, the whole thing. And then inside my form, I can get at the ID property within. Asterisk ID and not something else. This is just how it is done. I don't know why exactly. I just work here. This is how we do it. So I'm going to line up, my first field will line up with the ID field, the ID property of my song instance. Okay, create a second one. Input type equals text, which is going to line up with my, let's see, property of title. Better put a line break in there too. And another one here. Am I getting this right? Is this gonna work? We hope it'll work. Hope it'll work. So far so good. One more. We're gonna line up another one, almost identical. Input type equals text with th colon field lining up with my artist property. And that's most of it. That's most of it. I'm gonna look at my back of my slides. We're getting there. We're getting there. There's one last bit that's a little bit tricky though. In addition to a submit button. I'm gonna add my submit button now before I forget. Submit the value, to add song. Just something easy. Add in the submit button. And then there's a weird one in the middle here. There's something that's gonna look a little unusual the first time you see it. I'm probably going to make a mistake typing it, and so will you. But we'll get through it. I'm going to add, oops, I forgot something. ID colon. I forgot to caption my form, give my users a hint at what they should type. And genre colon. My genre field is going to be a select tag pair, so to speak. We're going to select some options. So far, so good. For this select dropdown, I want to populate the options inside with my genres collection. So hang on a second. I got that wrong though. I want to line up the value coming from the select tag pair to my, I said that wrong. I want to line up the value coming from this select tag pair to my genre singular Pojo field. Hopefully that makes sense. The value coming from this dropdown is going to go into the genre singular in my Pojo. I'm going to line up, I'm going to create, I got that wrong again. Inside the select, I'm going to use a th colon each. And this one's a little bit confusing, right? It's not, I mean, it is sort of a property. It might work either way. I'm going to do it the way I always do it, with a $sign brace for my genres, and it's going to be song.genres. Because I'm not sort of going to set or work with this property. I'm just going to pull information out of it, right? This genres thing to me is a variable, not a property that I'm going to set into information into, or get information from, for that matter, I guess. Song genres, and her, call. Oh, apparently I did do it the other way. My bad. Where's my brain? Okay, I changed this recently. I stand corrected. Call each one of them G. Call each one of my genres and my genres property G. I stand corrected. I screwed up again, folks. I'm doing my best, though. Call each one of them G. And then with our G, which will be each genre we have in turn, I'm going to set the value and the text of this option tag pair. So th:\value, what is actually printed, will be G dot. Actually, will be, what will it be? I should look at this more often. Just G, right? And the th:\text. Man, I keep screwing this up. Sorry, folks. The value we send to Spring Boot server will be the genre that is selected. Whatever singular genre that is selected from our list of genres, our collection, our drop down of genres, is what we're going to send back to Spring Boot. As will be whatever genre we select from our collection is what will be stored inside singular genre property. And the text we display, also this part's just easy. Again, what we will see in our form itself is also just each individual genre. I'm sorry I've screwed this up so much. I think we got this though. Gonna keep that self-closing. Okay. So far so good. So far so good. Maybe a BR here. A line break. And I think we got this. I hope we got this. Now, some interesting magic, some interesting stuff. Back at our controller, we're going to create a method to add a song. We're going to post from this form to /add song. So let's map that. We need a post mapping for add song. Post mapping for add song, which is a public string. Call it whatever you want. I need a model, of course. And we're going to return back to index. Someone asked me a question about this the other day. You can go to another page. I kind of like looping back to the same page because it just goes chunk gets longer on the same page. It just kind of flickers for a brief microsecond. Returning to index. On this page, let's see. I'm definitely going to need another blank song at the end. And I'm also definitely going to need to add in my song list, whatever it may contain. And coming at you live, another new attribute. When we post from our form, we are sending something called a model attribute to our Spring server. I can yank that model attribute. Literally, we set the model attribute here, right? Like this is our model attribute. We set it right here, model.addAttribute. I can yank that same model attribute out of the form on the other side with an easy and simple annotation. Model attribute song. That gonna work? So far so good. With our song, when we have our song back, song Pojo, fully populated with the data our users entered in the form, it's only a tiny step now. Take our song list and add it to it. Add it to the list. Each time we post, we add another song. Nice. Very nice. Not that hard. I will give you, I probably screwed up a bit on the form here though. But okay, we got this. We have got this. All right, whew, I think we're on the last slide, believe it or not. Run this thing. Run it, make sure that it works. The chances of me having screwed something up are significant. I can say. Is it going to work first try? I'm kind of doubtful, but maybe I got it right. Maybe. If I did, it's a fluke. Let's see. Loading localhost :8080. Oh, yeah! We got something. Okay. Something's working. So, for all the metalheads, can I say that? Kyle and Jake and everyone else out there, I need a good metal song. Someone help me out. Anybody? No judgment. No judgment. I'll start. How about
by
this?
Metallica?
Metallica? You gotta go with Metallica. The Black Album is one of the greatest albums of all time. I love the Black Album. I don't like very much other Metallica, but I like the Black Album quite a bit. Their power ballads are brilliant. What's a power ballad off of Unforgiven? What's the other one? Nothing Else Matters? Let's play Nothing Else Matters. Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, which, by the way, check this out. How cool is that? How cool is that? Unbelievable. We're calling this rock? That we agreed on? Okay. We got this. Nothing Else Matters by Metallica coming at you live. And there we go. Woo! It's not pretty, but it works. It works. I need another good metal song. And maybe I'll add one. How about The Sound of Silence? I've been here before. By Disturbed. Another power ballad. It's a really interesting one. It's a cover, and I would recommend it to everybody. They're Disturbed. I don't know if you know them. If you do, awesome. They're kind of like a goth metal, kind of a little bit more hardcore than the average metal band, I think you could say. Like, they didn't come out of the 80s. They're like for most of their songs. But they sing this power ballad that is a cover of a Simon and Garfunkel song, who are the extreme polar opposite of Disturbed. Simon and Garfunkel are all about harmony, and it's essentially folk music, and it's kind of happy and light and airy. And Disturbed sings the same song, and it is like dark and evil and intense. And it's worth a listen. I recommend you listen to both songs, Simon and Garfunkel, Sound of Silence, and Disturbed's version of The Sound of Silence. I would say Disturbed probably did it better. Check. It's brilliant. Brilliant. And I can't get enough of it, but also I can't get it out of my head, so I don't want to hear it on like live. We got this. The Sound of Silence by Disturbed. Also a rock song. Come on. Yeah. One more song that is not rock. What is... yeah, Drew, thank you. Taylor Swift. What's a good Taylor Swift song?
Love Story.
Love Story. Okay. It's a love story. I can't sing. Baby, just say yes. Something like that, yeah? Is that the one? That's a good song. Taylor Swift. I've been here before. She is country. Yes? Calling her country? She's very much pop, but I think, yeah, kind of eliminated that. Okay. Taylor has a pretty solid album in the form of, crap. It came out in a lockdown. Not the last one, but the one before that. It was really good. Willow, Echo, Evermore. I forget the name. Worth a listen. Just a consistently great album. It was kind of like almost like a double album, if you will. Yeah, thank you, Nadia. It was like a double album. It was like, but they were like 6 months apart. The first one of the 6 month apart pair that came out in spring of last year is a spectacularly good album. Worth a listen. It's very much in kind of the folky vein. It feels just good to listen to it. It's nice. A lot of stuff for ballads from her too. Nice stuff. Good album. Love Story by Taylor Swift. Some of her poppiest and also earliest. I could be wrong. Work. Cute. 1, 2, 3. Yes, we got this. We can do this all day, but we don't need to. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you form binding. Form binding in a nutshell. Powerful stuff. Lots of room for typos. Lots of room for me to screw up while I'm explaining it too. But if you are careful with this, if I am careful with this, this really can save us all a ton of time and effort. Almost no extra effort is needed to convert a bunch of request params, as in like, so with 2 or 3, who cares? Maybe you prefer request params. But if you have 7 or 8 or 17 or 78, definitely you want form binding, right? You prefer it most of the time. Almost no extra effort required to convert a bunch of request params into a fully populated POJO, so long as we line up the form carefully with our POJO and we have an instance in our model and as a model attribute ahead of time. You have to have that instance in the model ahead of time in order to make it go with the form. And as foreshadowing, I don't think I come back to this in a future lecture. I maybe should just show you now. As not as foreshadowing, but as literally the last thing we do today. We can even pre-populate our form data with data if the object we pass in already has data inside. If we pass in a pre-populated song, we get a pre-populated form in the HTML. And so I'm only going to show you this. It's just going to take me a while to type. I might let you play with this. I might let you guys experiment, you folks experiment. I don't want to type too much. I can, I guess. You know what? Experiments for everyone. You've all got homework in addition to your homework. Take this song out and stuff some data inside and see what happens. Try it out. Take the song out, put it up here, set some properties ahead of it. So like new song setters. Set some properties inside, then stuff the populated song in the model and see what happens. I bet you'll be surprised. It's very powerful stuff. Very, very powerful and worth a peek. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all I have to say. If you pass in a pre-populated song, you get a pre-populated form. That's amazing. Drew, I'm going to answer that off camera. Thank you one and all for your time and attention. As always, good lecture, short lecture for a Friday. I'm pretty happy about that. You've got some homework to do. It's a nice, easy exercise, and it's one that might change your life. I don't know. Certainly it's powerful and useful. Spring Boot, powering up, and more to come. Thank you one and all. Again, time and attention, much appreciated. Peace out.